We finally got our announcement. It finally happened. Mr. James Gunn, he said that it would happen in January, and the days on the calendar were going by. We got to literally the last fucking day. And that son of a bitch. He was just like, see you at noon. All right, he's honest.
Were you surprised, though?
No. No. Not playing this game.
That's spot on.
But James Gunn, that son of a bitch, and I like that it wasn't even the full slate. Um,
It was just 10 items, right?
it was 10 items, but that's not everything that's in the first slate. If now I could be wrong, and of course there's a lot of want to compare to Marvel.
Sure.
So it seems that instead of saying phase, they're going to say chapter. And chapter 1 is titled Gods and Monsters.
Which I like.
I like. I like. Now we're gonna run through the 10 things that were announced for the up. Now this is after the Shazams and the Aquamans and what have yous. That's that once that shit is dead, we're heading into new territory. Now, we had a combination of things. We're going to have animated series, live action HBO Max series, live action film.
Love it.
The first, Creature Commandos. Admittedly, I don't know a whole lot about, but from what I've read, I'm very excited. Because this is essentially, like in the comics and everything from what I've seen, is using the universal monsters to fight in World War II.
I'm there.
Yeah.
That. Thank you, James Gunn.
We're gonna have a wearer now. Now this is according to this the original, and this is in the comics. In the original, let's see, where the fuck was it? It just had it. Oh no, that's right. I was looking at this. That's what it was. The original team was there was a human team leader, a werewolf, a vampire, Frankenstein's monster, and a gorgon. Now, the only thing that has been slightly announced about it is that they're doing it slightly different. So I don't know if we're gonna get all of those particular creatures. Especially since Universal owns the original monsters, so they're just gonna have. How are you? How does Frankenstein's monster work in terms of legality?
I think a lot of those are. I'm not gonna say they're in public domain, but I think you're gonna get by on parody.
Okay.
Because they're not the same characters exactly.
All right.
But
speaking,
anything I say here is not legal advice, so please do not
Yeah.
take it as such.
The only thing that I know about this is that, like I said, it's animated, and that one character that is a part of the team that was announced was in James Gunn's newest Suicide Squad that had come out like a year or two ago. That fucking weird weasel character.
Yep.
He's on the team. It better be Domain.
I don't know how they did. I don't know how. Well, Joe Bob talked about Mary Shelley and Frankenstein and all that in the Monster Club episode. So I don't know exactly how the legality works on that. If there's some way to renew it or whatever, but yeah, it should be. If it's 1844, we've definitely passed the 100-year mark with that. Wow. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yep. Now, I don't know if it's going to be set in World War II. This iteration or if it's going to be like modern time. I don't know how old, I don't know what the lifespan of that weasel creature is. So I don't know if he would have survived or been around in World War II times. But that's the comic that this is based off of. So we will have something akin to that happening.
Yes,
The
make it nom.
next, the next, uh, apparently we're not getting a traditional season 2 of Peacemaker. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we are, but we aren't in the sense that it is season 2 of Peacemaker, but it's not going to be called Peacemaker. They're giving Amanda Waller her
Okay.
own show that's just called Waller, and it's still Viola Davis. So, she's kind of I like her. I've seen her do other things other than fucking Amanda Waller. But and she's a great actress, but dare I say, now I'm not saying she's not at this exact level yet, but I feel that what we have with her is the next situation of like J.K. Simmons's fucking Parker, fucking J. Jonah Jameson.
J. Jones, yeah.
So
Alex Jones in Spider-Man.
right, where it doesn't matter what universe it is, it's always going to be J.K. And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what it is, it's always going to be Viola Davis. Like I'm fine with that. um, but all of the majority of everybody from Peacemaker, that survived whatever story they had, I don't remember. It's been a hot minute. It was great. It was a fucking amazing show. It's been a minute, so I'd have to watch a recap to remember it. Um, but yeah, so that's essentially Peacemaker season 2. Now, one of the biggies. Unfortunately, we have to wait till July 2025. Superman. Live action full length film. Superman Legacy. Again, no cast, no cast for anything other than like, obviously Viola Davis, Amanda Waller and stuff like that. But no casts were for anything were announced, which is fine. I don't really understand how it doesn't seem like this is going to be an origin. It seems like uh and based on another movie that they're doing, uh it seems like people are going to already be aware of superpowered people, like when we get into this. Apparently a lot of it's going to focus on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage and his human upbringing, which is nice. It's always deep and thoughtful. No hints at what kind of fight or villain is going to be in it, other than it's maybe just a mental battle. But that would be, I don't know if you don't do the deep mental battle Superman as your first outing.
That's a bad start unless James Gunn puts a James Gunn spin on it. And
Yeah.
then
But now where I think this is all going to be headed is that there's going to be another, and I believe they said this was going to be a full length film. But there's going to be something called The Authority. So essentially, before the Justice League gets set up, there's already a group of superheroes that have formed kind of their own group, and it's called The Authority. Imagine The Boys, but something that DC would put in their comic books. So, not terribly too far off from The Boys, but maybe not as extreme.
it's like Watchmen went to therapy for a little bit.
Yeah.
So not quite that far down the. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But,
okay. That makes sense to me.
But it's a group of superheroes who kind of like they're not trying to like make things better. They handle shit their own way. They're like, if the easiest solution is ripping that dude's head off, that's what they're just gonna go fucking do. And nobody's gonna tell them not to do it.
I see that Gunn said it will be a very different look at superheroes as they will use any means necessary, and my head also immediately went to Scorpion tearing somebody, or Sub-Zero tearing somebody's head off. Okay, so we're going to get a gritty Justice League, basically, but with characters who are not quite as noble. I like it.
I believe it's old school. Yeah, I believe it does go that far back, Sparrow. I'm not 100% familiar with it myself. Um, but essentially what I'm getting from the setup of these things is that the authority, like society will already be aware of superpowered people because the authority will already be in existence as a group watching over things, but like I said, for their own divisive purposes, not really for the betterment of mankind. Um, and our Superman, and he probably is just going to be like, I'm not really digging how you're doing this. And then I think that he will have to form the Justice League to stop the authority. I think that's kind of where we're getting at with this, because like I said, the authority's got its members, and then the Justice League will obviously have its members. So those things kind of go hand in hand, and we will see how that goes. Like I said, I'm not too familiar with them, but it sounds like a very interesting thing.
Is has there ever been a comic book movie that pitted um, former heroes like that against each other? I'm not talking like Captain America: Civil War, where it was a big misunderstanding, but like where the whole damn group just went bad, because that is the kind of new ground thing that we need. Because I would love to be watching the Authority and be like, yeah, I can't wait for them to stay the good guys and everything go. Oh shit! And
Yeah.
then it turns into to a all out battle. That's cool, man.
Um, Another thing that was announced this. I've been waiting 10 years. I've been waiting 10 long, hard, goddamn years, Gabe. And every so often I'll get a glimmer of hope, but it never leads to anything. Finally, we're getting something properly done with the Green Lanterns. Finally. And I really like the idea that they're going with. Because always the problem that, like, okay, the first hurdle is just deciding to do something with the lanterns. The
Yep.
second hurdle is which one do we go with? And I like that they're going the route that because they're not picking just one. We're getting both Hal Jordan and John Stewart, the two that I would have wanted. I'm like, I hope they go Hal Jordan, but I'd be cool with John Stewart. I'm getting both. This is fucking great. And what it is, it's like a buddy cop, noir, true detective style.
No shit.
Yeah,
We're
that's
we're, we're
that. That's how he worded it. He goes, think of True Detective. And he goes, there the series is going to focus on them trying to solve something that's going on. He goes, the problem is going to be terrestrial. So the problem that they're trying to solve is on Earth. So they're not going to be in space just yet. I mean, I'm sure that there will be moments of them in space, but that's not where the central issue is going to be. Um, but John Stewart, Hal Jordan working together, True Detective style with fucking power rings. I'm excited as shit.
me too. My O face just about popped on camera there. Jesus Christ, that is. Um, why? I mean, I know that because I haven't watched it yet, but I know the Winter Soldier buddy cop with Falcon was it was pretty well received, I think. But
I think I don't like to count the third Captain America because it's like it's a spectacle movie. Like it's not really an isolated Captain America movie because it's the Civil War. Like that's everybody. It's
yeah,
a mini Avengers movie is what it is. Um, but so taking that out of it, no, Captain America 2 is one of the better, like top tier of the whole all of the movies that they've done. That one's fucking great. I wish they would do more like that.
And then what was the show? The
Oh,
the buddy cop one.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah, that one
Okay.
was good. That one was good, except for one kind of like story element that they didn't get to develop as much because it got cut on the floor there.
Hmm.
But I think if we would have gotten a fuller story, see this has also been coming up in conversation, and I think they're gonna have to follow suit. At least one would hope. But all these other shows, like not just Last of Us, but like anything, all the Disney Plus shows, the Marvel shows, like their episodes are like 30 to 40 minutes at best. And I'm like, it's like you turn it on and it's over before you even know it. And you're like, well, what did I gain from this? I'm like, they need to breathe these stories out. You need like an hour long episode each episode.
Which I don't really understand because oh no, I'm gonna do it again. If they're gonna oversaturate the market, why not just give them hour-long episodes to get the? You could do a 5-episode season at that rate and actually tell a story, but nobody wants to do that because they want you to tune in every week, or they don't. They release all at once, don't they?
No, the Disney they do it weekly. That's the
Huh.
thing too, is that like I used to think that like getting them all at once and binging them in my own like I do think that doing it weekly is the better way to go because it keeps it more in the conversation, and especially if it's a hit show,
Yep.
you know. And it's just like I feel that even though there's long gaps in between each episode of you watching it, for some reason I feel like you retain more of the show when it's done that way.
Because you're excited to watch it and you want to watch it the following week. Remember back
Yeah.
when we would watch the X Files on Sundays or
Yep.
Fridays, and it was like I gotta wait a week to find out what the hell's going on in this two-parter. Gone are the days of that. Whenever you put the entire show out like that, so that's a smart move. But the episodes are only 20 to 30 minutes. That's like that's teasing you, and then I don't see how with that kind of material you can tell you can tell a story within that short of amount of time and not have these jarring breaks in them. Seems odd.
I think they need to reevaluate how they do their show. I'm not saying that it's been like complete shit show, but uh, they can do better. And I think that once they start seeing how these other shows are like other networks are doing shows and stuff, they're like, all right, yeah. Um, but I was very happy to see the Lanterns get its day. So, moving on, another thing that was announced. This is probably the one out of all of them that I'm the most iffy on, only because of how it's being detailed. They announced a show called, this will also be an HBO Max series, Paradise Lost. And this is about the island Paradise. Well, in the comics, it's Paradise Island, and I think in the movies they started calling it Themyscira or something like that. But where Wonder Woman's from, the place with all the women. But it's supposed to be way before Wonder Woman is even born or created. Um, and this is supposed to be a Game of Thrones style show about the inner politics of how such an island like that is run.
I think I'm down for that.
Yeah, like it that's one of those ones where I'm like, if done right. The big if. The big if. I'm like, you could make that good. But like I'm just sitting here and I'm like, I'm like, I'm assuming that this will at some point lead up to the birth of Wonder Woman.
Hmm.
I imagine that's the end goal for that series. But it just seems interesting that they would go that route. But like I said, in Gunn we trust.
He's tapping into a market there by comparing it to Game of Thrones, so you're going to go into that in the back of your mind for better or worse. And
You're right, Sparrow. If they go hard into the ancient Greece aspect of it, then it'll be fucking easy.
Yeah,
Because
that'll be an easy
yeah,
sell.
then I'm down for it. The next is a two-part announcement. One, I'm glad that they're doing this, and this might be something that Marvel might want to look at and steal the idea for, because they kind of did do this at one point, I think, with the Blade movies, the Wesley Snipe Blade movies. But he announced that there's two labels. There's going to be the DC Studios, which is all of the canon films, all the connected universe, everything like the movies that go hand in hand with each other. And he goes, but then there's going to be another label, and it's called DC Elseworld. And these are movies that do not belong at all connect to the big connecting ones. That's where your Joker's movies will go. And Matt Reeves, the Batman, is confirmed that it is getting a sequel and will be part of the DC Elseworld. So Robert Pattinson's not going to be a part of the whole big shebang bang. Those are going to be their own fucking movies, and but it is happening.
That is the best thing that could happen with this, because I don't know about you, but I was digging Detective Batman in that, and I think Pattinson did a good job as the angsty sort of Bruce Wayne. So that is excellent news. I'm so happy that they basically just shoehorned in a R-rated DC universe out there and said we're going to give it this fancy title, but basically this is where all the nasty shit's going to happen. I'm here for it, man.
What up, D? Welcome in. Welcome in.
Welcome, D.
But no, isn't that what Marvel did like way back when, like before the MCU and shit? Like, didn't the then wasn't Blade like under like the didn't they have like a Marvel Knights label or something like that that was specifically like the dark like Ghost Rider was a part of it, I think. I
I
could be
think
totally wrong, but I feel like that was a thing.
I think they were trying to separate some of the stuff, like how
Like
Sony ended up with Venom
yeah, like
and all
well,
of that.
it was like separating like Blade and Ghost Rider from like saying that that shit's separate from like the Chris Evans fucking Fantastic Four and shit like that.
It was basically your kids are going to go to the theater to see the Hulk, and you are going to go over and watch Blade. Kind of
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exact. Marvel Knights was yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, because that's how they came up with it because it was they did have a Marvel Knights comic line, yeah.
That's cool.
Um, but so we'll have the Twilight Batman, if you will, and I say that affectionately. But also, we got to have our Batman that's in the connected universe. So there's going to be two Batman. There's going to be two Batman. There's going to be the R-rated Batman that's for the grown-ups, and then there's going to be the probably slightly more acceptable Batman for the kiddies as well in the connected universe. And I think this is where my confusion comes in because I'm really like I think how they're setting it up because the reason they didn't keep Henry Cavill for Superman is because they want to go younger. They really want to get Superman when he's youngin'. But the route that they're talking about for the Batman that's going to be in the connected thing, this would not be a young Batman. This would be a Batman who's seen some shit already. Because this is going to be called Batman the Brave and the Bold. And we are getting a Robin in this. But we are skipping straight to Damian Wayne Robin.
Because, to quote the GQ article I'm looking at, you may not know it, but Batman is a canonical sex haver in the comic books. Batman has fucked everybody.
Yeah,
Batman is like Jack Nicholson in Hollywood in the 70s.
he's got all sorts of. He's got bat copter, bat shark repellent. Doesn't have a bat condom.
He always left home without it.
Yeah. So I'm curious as to how old they're gonna like. Well, not so much how old, but how seasoned of a Batman are we getting at the beginning of our potential Justice League. That's what I'm bad condoms. I'm curious as to how that will affect things, but at the same time, like I do like seasoned Batman because he's got the old man wisdom, you know.
Like Kevin Conroy from the animated series. Yeah.
What was the bats? But I uh I will be interested. I have always liked the concept of Damian Wayne. Like I like, that he's it's with Talia. I like that. I like that he's a fucking badass assassin. Like he's a rude boy. He's a rude
Hmm.
boy.
Yeah.
Um, and I like that he kind of just gets dumped on Batman's story. Like I like all of the setup, but just how he act. Like I think it's just because he's like 10 or fucking 12 that I'm like, it's like it doesn't matter how evil or badass you are, but if you're still just like 10, it always just comes across as annoying instead of like evil. Like the closest I've ever gotten to a purely evil child was Macaulay Culkin in The Good Son.
Oh damn, that's pretty good.
Where it's like, okay, it's not annoying or cute. Like, no, that motherfucker's evil. um,
He will kill you.
yeah. Um, but so I think that if they don't go the route of having him be a kid, maybe make him like 16, 17, maybe even 18. Maybe not 18. Maybe that's too old, but like 16. I think 16 is a
Angsty
good,
teenager year.
yeah. And it's not fucking weird that like you're like, okay, not only are you a vigilante, but you also clearly child endangerment. Don't fucking, you know what I mean? Like you are just outstandingly a terrible father. Like I know you didn't really have one for very long, but that's no excuse.
I I wonder. Yeah, the age thing with that one, I'm genuinely curious about because that could open up some avenues of plot and all of that, which Batman. Every plot I think's been done at this point, but it's actually got me wondering about for the Batman for adults. Are we gonna get a Jason Todd story? Because the setting in the Matt Reeves universe, it's
Well,
there for it. It's ripe for it. It's ready to go.
I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they'll do that with Matt Reeves because they're gonna keep him young. I think they're gonna keep him in his
Oh
early
yeah.
years. Uh, Even though it wasn't in the description, like the written description, when James Gunn was talking about this canonical Batman or the connected Batman, uh, he did use the term or say that this will be our first introduction to the Bat family. So I think that, obviously that means we are going to get Nightwing, we are going to get Batgirl at some point. I think all of that will happen. So, um, I do think that somewhere down the line that we will get a Batman Beyond. I do believe that'll be an Elseworld movie though. And that's fine. That's what it's there for.
That means we might get Michael Keaton,
Yeah,
which is what everybody wanted.
yeah. Um Next up, this one I mainly only know this character by name and I have a few of the comics. I've not read them. It's just like I said, I just knew for the week, grab the wall. Didn't read them all. um But it's an interesting concept. This is another HBO Max series. Booster Gold. Booster Gold. Kind of the setup of this is that in the future, in the far future, there's a guy that's like he's not. I mean, it's a young kid slash adult, young adult. Let's put it that way. A YA, and he's a fucking loser, dweeb, idiot, imbecile. So he comes up with the brilliant idea. Let me take the most basic of my technology now, here in the future, and go back to the past, which would be our present time.
Hmm.
And because whatever it is, it's basic to him, but to us, it's amazing. And he's like, I'm going to be a hero here where people will think I'm amazing.
That sounds like it could be hilarious.
Yep, and it's going to be set up as a comedy. So,
Perfect.
so I like I said, I'm like that could be fun. That could be fun. I don't like I said, I don't know a whole lot about the Booster Gold character, so I'm not gonna be able to say how accurate they are. But with a premise like that and James Gunn at the helm, and with how great Peacemaker was, oh yeah, oh yeah. And let's see here. Moving on. Now, there's two things left. This next one, I really like how this was set up and how this is poised to be. We're getting and I believe this is going to be a movie. Uh, we are getting a full-on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Now,
Okay.
how this is set, I don't know a whole lot about Supergirl. I mean, I watched some of the show. I have some Supergirl comics. I know who she interacts with. Her situation is varies depending on what storyline you're reading. But how they're setting it up for this movie, I think, is really, really smart. The basis of this situation is going to be now. This is obviously I think she's a cousin of Superman.
Okay.
Um, well, now before Krypton exploded, Superman was exited by his parents and sent to be raised by the loving Kent family.
Mm-hmm.
Now, his cousin Kara here, she did not fare so well. She survived on a chunk of Krypton that was left after the planet exploded. And pretty much all of her existence has been watching everyone she knows and loves die. And she shows up. So, kind of how I think how they're gonna go with that is that they're gonna swing. Not only are Batman and Superman gonna have a bond, that weird, cool bond that they have just in and of themselves, but Superman's gonna be having to deal with Supergirl, and Batman's gonna be having to deal with Damian, so they'll have that to bond over.
That actually could open up some interesting doors for the series, and if they're, especially if the younger characters are well received too. That's man. James Gunn got that money machine ready to start printing. That could be really that could be good.
Well, there was one last thing that was announced, and this is I'm glad that this is going to be a full-length film. There was a lot of normal things that I was expecting. I was kind of expecting lanterns just because it's James Gunn, and I know that he would not ignore Green Lantern like everybody else. So while I was extremely happy, and that's like my big takeaway is lanterns, uh, there needed to be one big surprise that was just going to send me over the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one I think that you're going to get excited about, sir.
Okay.
We are getting a full-length feature film in the genre of horror. We're bringing back the Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is coming back in a horror movie. And, I'm kind of thinking with what they've, like the kind of people that they already got over there. And Peter, so you got James Gunn and you got his boy Zaffron there who's working things with him. Zaffron just is producing the second Aquaman movie, which is directed by James Wan. So there's your Swamp Thing movie.
Well,
I mean, they didn't say anything about him specifically, but that's just that's a big assumption by a lot of people.
I
But
I
it's
would like that.
it, there's going to be a horror film. It says a horror film that differs in tone from the other stories of the DCU, but will still integrate into the larger universe down the road. Swamp Thing explores the dark origins of the Swamp Thing monster.
Well, this commentator speculates that they're going to lean into Cronenberg style body horror with it. I know this might be a stretch. I don't know. I'm not going to say David Cronenberg or Brandon Cronenberg would do it. Although I do want to see Infinity Pool because I want to get real weird with it.
Mhm.
Would do you, Don Coscarelli is available, and he can
You
do a
want to see
dark tone movie.
you want a Reggie cameo is what I
I
mean.
do want a Reggie cameo. I do want a Reggie cameo, but looking back, I mean, a lot of his stuff is horror comedy, except really for Phantasm, because the humor in that was kind of Reggie and it was organic from how he is as an anti-hero. But thinking about how he does movies and how he can set tone, because going back to one of our episodes on discussing Phantasm, that movie has atmosphere out the ass, and Swamp Thing very much can use some good atmosphere to really bring the scare factor home. So James Gunn is part of that universe, and maybe he will try to tap into getting a Coscarelli to do it, or he might, go a completely different route, and you might get James Wan. Either way, what you just said about it and what I just read about it, I don't give a shit. I just want to see it at this point.
And even though nothing was said about this at all, but Swamp Thing would kind of be our first step towards Justice League Dark. Just saying. Just saying that we can start to build that bridge now. um you know, we got to throw in some Constantine, we got to throw in some Zatanna, you know, what was it, the Phantom? Uh there there there's going to be I'm loving everything that this crazy son of a bitch is going to do. Keanu Reeves has said that he wants. I think he has said that they want to do a Constantine too, but I don't know if that's gonna be anything to do with like the DC stuff, or if it's just strictly gonna try to be a sequel off the original and like just keep those things themselves. I don't know what the situation is with that. Um, if I could literally play God, would I like to put Keanu Reeves Constantine into the continuity of things? Could be fun. Not opposed to it. Not also saying that that is also the best move either, but could be fun. Could be fun.
I I don't think you could go wrong with it. I mean that that
Yeah.
that has some recognition to it.
That's the thing too, Sparrow.
Oh,
That's the real kick in the dick about it, where it's like I did like Keanu as Constantine, but that one dude that they had for the TV shit, the blonde dude, like that was just like literally you took the motherfucker off the comic page and put him in live action. That was
wait.
that was great too. That's the real kick right there. Maybe you
The,
do the Keanu Constantine and Elseworld so you can keep like R-rated demonic shit, but maybe you throw the good-looking dude in for the connected shit.
did not know that Constantine's character design was based off of Sting, the singer of the Police.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, now we just got to find Sting lookalikes, and then maybe that'll be the route they go. I was about to say Jeremy Irons, but I was like, nope, that will not work. Never mind.
But that son of a bitch James Gunn, he fucking did it. He came out and fucking last day of the month and he's just like, I said January, by God, it's gonna be January. Fuck it. I'll see you in 30 minutes. And I'm like, you gotta respect a guy that's just like, well, I said that I would do it. Like, we don't have a stage or anything, but fuck. But I dig what he's got set up. Like I think that this all could work and be very interesting. Um I like the setup, I like the premise. Now I just need to see the final product. That's the real. We can be razzled and dazzled till the cows come home and think about what could be. but it doesn't mean a bowl of piss until we see the final product.
No. And when was the first item supposed to come out?
I think the earliest we're seeing stuff is 2025. I forget which one's coming out first. I think we might get Creature Commandos first because that's just like an animated thing that, you can just kind of put in wherever. But
Sure.
I think the big things is Matt Reeves' the Batman sequel comes out in 2025, and then but that's not connected. But then Superman Legacy is July 2025.
Okay. I I am I am pleased with this announcement, and I am glad that there will be friendly rivalry between MCU and DCU now, because that means we might actually branch out of the formulas a little bit. Even though judging by what's coming with MCU, I'm guessing that they've already tried to get ahead of that. But this is exciting times. I'm
Mhm.
that is
Yeah,
nice.
it's fun when now that you think about it, it's like the MCU's really kind of gone like sci-fi with the tech and like space shit and like just I don't know, like there's something about like the pure getting down to like you said like the what he named the chapter is gods and monsters and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's just get to the core of that. That sounds good. That sounds good. So I was a happy boy the other day. That was a good announcement. I'm glad. I will be happy to see things get back on point, hopefully. Um, I know they put out that Shazam trailer, the second one for the next movie.
Hmm.
I don't. The first Shazam was fine. I didn't hate it. It's just it's not a character I care about. That's the thing. It wasn't a bad
Sure.
movie. I just don't give a shit. But it had some fun. It had some fun beats. It was cool to see a superhero version of Big minus the creepy parts of Big. But
Okay.
the second movie here, I like the setup of the trailer though. Like I like the severity of the situation. But for some reason, just watching him fight that dragon in the trailer just took me out of it. Where I'm like, it's not that the dragon looks bad, the effects look fucking great, but I'm just like, this is just a kid that's pretending to be a big guy and he's punching a dragon. Like, I'm just saying, I'm not shitting on it. It's just I'm like, I need another guy wearing blue tights fighting an alien. That's what I need. If I'm gonna be a complete idiot about it, I don't want a man boy punching a dragon. I want a man in tights punching an alien. There we go.
Fair. Very fair.
Yeah. I mean, to each his own. I know we all have our own different tastes.
No, I hate to admit it. Still haven't watched the first one yet, so I don't really.
It's not bad. It's
That's
it's
what I've heard.
it's cute.
That's fair.
And
I
I'm not shitting on Shazam. Like Shazam's a good character in the comics and stuff. Like but and Zachary Levi's great in the role in the movie. I like the meme, and what's funny is, and it really shows how fucked up things got at the end there. I like the meme going around that uh Shazam 2 and Black Adam are going to be coming out within a year of each other, and neither of them have anything to do with each other. That's how bad things got before Gunn.
thank you, Gunn. That's all. That's all. I had something about. So the first Shazam seems more like it's geared towards. It would be geared towards kids then, and then the second one
Yeah.
kind of it seems to be playing off of that. Okay,
And
well,
Gunn we trust.
I look forward. I can't believe I'm going to say this on February 1st, 2023. I'm looking forward to 2025 when we actually get to see this stuff in motion, then that's I don't feel let down by any of these announcements. This seems like a good route to go. I know we have more announcements coming. That's fine, but I think these 10 items that were dropped on us, I think that's my what's the old saying? My I have wet my whistle with these, and
Mm-hmm.
things are looking
Color
up.
me intrigued.
You had my curiosity, and now you have my attention.